There is one thing that absolutely changed my life forever, and it solves a problem to something a lot of people struggle with. And I was just talking about this with my friend Tanner. He goes by Tommy Noble. And we were saying, once you get to kind of a certain point, like right now, things are going well for both of us, but we're both very driven. And once you get to a certain point of things going well in your own life, you start thinking about what kind of impact can you make on the world? And that's what we're kind of thinking about. Because for a while, you kind of just think about yourself, right? You're trying to get your stuff lined up. And then once things are going well, you kind of start thinking, all right, what's my purpose here? What can I really do? And obviously, I'm not going to invent the next iPhone. But the only difference between us and people from in the past is that, not only do we have access to it, but we also have the technology and their inventions. And so I'm like, okay, what is something that I can do that would help? I got very lucky. When I was 11, I was really interested in growing Instagram accounts. So I did that and I sold them, and that led me down the whole entrepreneurial journey of doing social media, doing things like drop shipping, doing music, like all kinds of stuff. In that journey, obviously I learned a lot of self-development things, how to endure hard things, how to delay gratification, all that, because I didn't have a choice. And I was a kid, I wanted the results, but I couldn't get them. There's no way to cheat, with entrepreneurship. Things like that are what I learned, and I was very lucky because I just happened to be interested as a kid in doing those kinds of ventures, but a lot of people don't. And so people in my regular life would tell me, oh, I just go to my job and I come home, I don't really like my life, I'm not very happy, I'm not very driven, things like that. And what I always try to tell them is, because they always are into something, they're always into something creative or entrepreneurial or whatever. And I always tell them to do it. And they're like, oh no, I don't want to whatever. Or, oh, I just want to get rich, but I don't want to show myself on the camera. Or, oh, I don't want to take this risk because it'll cost money, it'll cost time, whatever it is. But what I've noticed is after lots of badgering from me and just kind of living by, practicing what I preach and just leading by example, a lot of people around me started their own thing, and now they have purpose. I don't think people need to be driven to be the next Steve Jobs, whatever. I think people need purpose. They just want something to be working towards. And when you're just working at your job and going home, you don't have purpose. You don't know what you're working towards. And when you are working towards something at your job, you don't get any of the benefits. So you don't care. And that makes total sense. And that's missing from a lot of people, but they overestimate what it looks like to actually take that action. They think, oh, I have to do all these things. And it's like, no, you just have to start and then the ball will start rolling. So that is step number one to really, I think, solving a lot of pain and dissatisfaction and all these things that people have in their lives. Step one is that thing you're interested in that you make a gazillion excuses for, cut the shit and do it. Because for real, once you have that mission, most of the things that you have, the problems mentally are gonna go away. Yes, you'll still have financial problems, relationship, whatever. But in terms of just you and your own life, it truly, and I've seen it because I've motivated people in my own life to start, and their lives are significantly better. And a lot of them have seen success, and the ones that haven't are pretty close and they're on their way. And the reason I wanted to make this is because I was thinking about what my life mission is, and really a big reason why I wanted to start this channel is because I've been able to help people in my real life, and sometimes they didn't want it. And I forced it on them of being like, no, you gotta do this, it's gonna help. Because I really do care. And I don't know, I don't see anyone believing that because I'm a guy on the internet and everyone always has to have an ulterior motive, but I really do. And also my ulterior motive is building trust so that you work with me in the future, but I'm not even selling anything on here. It's just so that if you come across me later on, you'll be like, oh yeah. So there you go, there's my ulterior motive. But I really do care, and I was thinking about what would help humanity the most, and I was like, man, that's a lot of people really struggle when they could just take that first step. And I want to be a light and a guidance to that, because I think that's a big thing of what I'm here to do, is help people kind of get out of that rut. And obviously there's way more that goes from that, but step one is following your interests, understanding that the situation you're in is maybe not your fault, but it's your responsibility to get out of it. Understanding that no one's gonna help you, no one's gonna save you, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of people talk about the problems with, like mental health and things like that. And believe me, I'm not here to just shit on mental health, but I think it's misrepresented where they will say, oh, don't do anything to hurt your mental health or like protect it and all these things, which yes, but the way it's represented is totally wrong in my opinion, because people will be sad and then they won't want to do something hard because it hurts their mental health, right? And this is backwards. The way to get out of that, and there's nuance, please, there's nuance. The solution is to do the hard thing that makes you feel way worse in the moment, and then you will get out of it. But what a lot of people think is, oh, I need to focus on my mental health, so I can't do something that makes me feel worse because then I'm making it worse. But that's not the right thing. You have to have some delayed gratification and understand you're gonna feel worse. Like if you know you really want to start this thing and it's making you feel terrible that you're not starting it, get your ass up and do it and feel like shit and recognize it's okay if you feel like shit. And that's why like a lot of people say I'm the Mr. Harsh guy with that kind of stuff. But I'm like, it's really not. It's just what actually gets you the results. Like I'm a results guy. I'm really not anything else. Like I'm just like, this is what's gonna actually yield results. So if it sounds harsh or if it sounds too lenient, it doesn't matter. I'm here to do what actually works. So hopefully with that being said, I'm not trying to like push an ideology on anyone of like being Mr. Alpha and not caring and all that stuff. Like truly, that's just what has worked for me and for other people. You're gonna start forming all these new habits. You really aren't gonna see any results after you start, so you're not gonna get reinforced. So you have to find other ways to do it. You have to just be like, at the end of the day, do I feel satisfied with myself? Because in my opinion, that's how you get confidence. That's how you start believing in yourself, how you feel good about yourself, how you build self-worth, is going to bed at night being like, I'm proud of everything I did. Just understand you're not gonna get reinforced. You're not gonna see results. Nothing's gonna happen, but you have to keep going, because if you can push through and be happy with the mission you're on and have that purpose and that goal, your life will change. And that's something that's changed my life and a lot of my friends' lives, of getting them over that either being too lenient with yourself, which people do. You can still be lenient with yourself, but we're capable of a lot more than we think. And also the other way around, of not being too hard on yourself, being okay with it, but also holding yourself accountable. You know what I mean? That is something that I think at least will be very helpful. And just understand you're gonna get no results. I promise you, you'll get no results. And if you do, then I'm wrong and you're right and you get results. And that's okay. But you'll have purpose, you'll have something you're working towards. And when you feel terrible about your life, you'll know you're doing something about it. So you won't ever feel as bad ever again, because you're like, I feel terrible, I hate my life, but I am doing something about it right now, so I guess it's okay. And you can have that faith knowing it won't be this way forever, because you're taking action. And that's why basically my whole life motto is take action. But I wanted to make this because I hope that it helps someone. Once again, do whatever you want, but I just see a lot of people feeling so bad, and this is something that I've yet to see not help someone. But you actually have to stick to it. You have to understand you're not going to get anything for a long time, and if you do, great. But if you start working out tomorrow, you're not going to see shit for a while. Like, you're not going to notice. Even if you, like with me, I was diligently tracking calories. I don't think I even know, even when I was weighing myself, it's so, it fluctuates so much, you can't even tell. But I didn't really see a difference for maybe a couple months. You have to trust that it will work. So find a way to trust it, find a way to reinforce yourself, find a way to play a mini game of, one follower, it matters so much. Like, find anything you can to keep yourself going, to reinforce yourself. And even if you don't make a ton of money and succeed and hit all the goals you wanted, I promise you, if you do it for 2 years and you're still not successful, you will be happier in those 2 years, at the end of those 2 years, and you'll still be so glad you did it. And you'll probably still be continuing, and you'll eventually get there regardless. because things take a long time. But I try to say 2 years because that's kind of a reasonable amount to start seeing results in my experience and other people's. But anyway, that's my thing. If I can help just one person do it, that's my kind of my what I feel like my life purpose is, and my purpose for this channel. I don't know how I'm going to do that in terms of making a career out of that in the future. That's not really a concern. Right now I'm doing my SEO, but that is kind of my life goal to fulfill, if that makes sense, is to inspire people and to kind of go down that path. Not saying everyone has to be an entrepreneur, but I think everyone wants some kind of purpose, some kind of creativity. And if nobody had to work, I think everyone would be pretty depressed. They just don't like what they're working on. So anyway, just my 2 cents. Hopefully it's helpful to someone. And if you haven't started something, try it. Just do it. It'll help. I really will.